Hey everybody, here's a little tip for you from me to you. When you go to shoot your movie reviews for your YouTube channel, make sure and double check the batteries in your microphone so you don't have to shoot your reviews more than once. I'm Lindsay and this is my review for Brightburn. I was super excited about this movie ever since I saw the first trailer that they released that pretty much mimicked the Man of Steel trailer. I was very excited to see it because it was like nothing I'd seen before. And I also really like James Gunn and I love the way he writes and the stories that he tells. And if you couldn't glean from that trailer what this story is about, essentially it is the Superman origin story but with a seriously dark, horrific twist. Imagine someone with all those powers and abilities, but they are not here for good, they are here for evil. Dark, James Gunn-esque evil. I thought it was shot very well, it's very well paced. This movie's only an hour and a half, so it moves. They do rely a bit on the general knowledge of the Superman origin to fill in some of the blanks. I didn't mind it, but I could see general audience goers taking some issue with it or being a little lost at some points, but it's a pretty straightforward story, not too many gaps. But some character stuff does suffer because of that. I was very surprised and found it extremely interesting how similar the beats of a superhero story are with the beats of a horror story as far as the ramp up in action and the similarity between like discovering a superhero's powers and the ramp up of violence or mysterious happenings in a horror film. It's extremely similar. This film is rated R. It has a lot of gore, a lot of violence, sexual situations, and some very dark psychological subject matter. And it was those psychological elements that I found the most compelling about this film. Because there's those scenes in Man of Steel where Martha Kent is talking to the young Clark Kent because his powers are starting to manifest about how I know how different and alone you feel, but you are special and you are destined for greater things. Well, Brandon's mother in this film has that same conversation with him about how he's special, about how he may feel different and alone, but he's destined for bigger and better things.
I know it's been difficult for you lately that you feel different from other kids. You are different.
Except he kind of takes the twisted interpretation of that message and feels this superiority to human beings and how much more powerful he feels over them and that he can control them and do whatever he wants. And his powers start manifesting right around the age of puberty. He's 12, and with these powers awakening, there's also a sexual awakening with him, and that goes to some very dark places in this film, which I was surprised that they went to those extremes, but I was glad they did because it just added another layer to the evil. I thought the acting for this film was very well done. Elizabeth Banks is in it, and she's one of James Gunn's regulars. She was in Slither. Roy from The Office plays the dad. He does a fine job. And the setting is extremely similar to the Superman origin story where it's a small town in the Midwest. And instead of Smallville, this town is called Brightburn, which is where we get the title. But this film is very well written and put together in that everything that is set up is paid off. Even down to the smallest things like the little symbol that he makes and the drawings that he does and the little game they play with the whistling. Pretty much all of the gore effects are computer generated, but I didn't mind it. It was pretty well done, and there's one sequence with a piece of glass and an eyeball, and it was just one of the grossest things I've seen in quite a while. I think the entire audience was squirming during that scene. They did set it up for sequels, which I wouldn't mind seeing if they continue along with this kind of style. But this is definitely a film that can stand on its own, and I would be fine with it standing on its own. Michael Rooker has a very fun cameo towards the end, which was fun and enjoyable. And getting back to some of the psychological elements that were put into the story, it goes into themes of narcissism and sociopathy and superiority complex. But I would highly recommend going and seeing this. If you're a superhero fan, if you're a horror fan, I think they do justice to both of the genres. And it's very compact and very straightforward. And it's just a fun movie to start the summer with. Well, that's gonna do it for this review. So until next time, this is Lindsay signing off. I'll check you later.